as a professor, one of the things I'm trying to always think about is what is the next big question? And it seems to me that one of the questions that most of us are really thinking about right now is what happens if we live to 100 years, or what happens if our kids live to 100 years. But one of the most fundamental facts about living to 100 is if you live to 100 and you save, you know, a normal saving rate, and you want to retire on 50% of your final income, you will be working until you're in your late 70s, early 80s. And that's just a fact. We ran through the lives of three people. One we call Jack, who died when he was 70. One we call Jimmy, who's going to live until he's 90, 80, 90, and is currently in his 40s. Well, he'll probably live longer than that. And one called Jane, who's now 20 years old, and we expect that she'll live to at least 100. Why would Jane immediately jump into something? Actually, wouldn't it be more sensible for her to take a look at her options, to build options and then start to make choices? We're already seeing this. It's no surprise that young people are getting married older. Why would we surprised? That they're buying houses older, that they're having children older, that they're doing their careers later. This all makes total sense. So we expect to see a new stage of exploration emerging. But there's two really important consequences of that. The first is that when new stages emerge, transitions become really important. So the interesting thing about a three-stage life is that there's only two stages. There's a transition from education to work to retirement. And secondly, and this I think is profound actually, Jimmy was in lockstep. Everybody was educated at the same time as Jimmy. He's the one who died in his 70s. Everybody went to school. Everybody retired at the same age. Jane is not in lockstep. So if you think that each person designs their own life, they're not going to do it at the same time as each other. And actually, when we think about what are the implications for policy and for corporations, the end of lockstep is really one of them. Because certainly within corporations, and you know this very well from McKinsey, it's been easy for us to imagine that if you know somebody's age, you know their stage. But if you disconnect age from stage, suddenly you could be at university when you're 60, you could be doing a portfolio when you're 20, you could be exploring when you're 70 or when you're 17.